That's a very real issue, and for that reason, I stayed in ongoing contact with the existing CEO and co-founder, original co-founder of Redfish West in Western Australia, to ask them about those same issues. And so what you see in the final version of the Future Catch is some of the questions, fundamental questions they actually had to ask in terms of why bother putting the peak body in place? What was in it for the Recreational Sport Fishing Council? What was in it for the minister? And I addressed the concerns that the minister had about how this thing could get out of control, and other questions that the minister had. And I think the best thing is to keep in mind that Recfish West has continued to evolve. And as the trust and the confidence goes both ways, they've been able to move further and further in terms of service level agreements and putting in place with those agreements the types of governance arrangements that the minister needed to be sure that it wasn't going to come back and get them, and also to ensure that there could be that dialogue, that healthy debate between the Department of Fisheries, the minister, the Recfish West, and also the Fishing Industry Council. So it took time. They didn't get it right. And what we've heard from Western Australia is, start it. It's not going to be perfect. Keep building on it, and you will get the type of governance arrangements, agreements for services that you need. And in that way, you know, the concerns that go both ways eventually get addressed.
Kia ora, Tim Panker, Seafood New Zealand. A simple question to all of the panellists. Should the recreational catch be measured?
Absolutely. Yes. I think it should, actually.
Absolutely.
It already is. We've already got statistical models that give a very good, as good an indication of what you're going to get. Any other form of recording needs to be proven to be more accurate than that will be, and compulsory catch reporting is subject to compliance issues where people don't feel they will be seen to be catching things. In can you rely on them to record what they've caught, and will you get a more accurate result as such?
So that's a no.
I said that it already is. The statistical models that are currently being used are as good a result as you're going to get, so you've got recording.
Well, in answer to that last question, I'd say no. I don't think we have the faintest idea of how much recreational fishers catch. I had a quick estimate on Thursday and decided that 9.5 tonne came out of my town, and that was just me having a little quick work out. I come from Raglan, and Minister, we've 30 years ago, I got accosted by some commercial fishermen in Wellington, and I decided I needed to go home and sort the place out. And me and a few others, we decided we needed a holistic approach to fisheries management, and that started with the catchment plan at Raglan. And we had a public meeting in the town hall where some farmers said to us some things that I won't repeat in this public forum, but it wasn't pleasant. And they have adopted fencing and riparian farming and planting, and we're pretty close to being finished actually. And our fisheries improved, dramatically so. And you know, if you wanted a test case to take to the rest of the country that has fisheries that aren't very well, come and have a cup of tea with me in Raglan and I'll show you how we did it. Thank you.
You live in the second nicest part of the country. but you know, I think what you were talking about is what we now call ecosystem-based management. We were not just looking at one fish stock or one little area. It's how the whole ecosystem works together. And you know, there's a national science challenge which is run by Envy, and one of the things they're looking at is fisheries in a certain part of the country and ecosystems-based management. It's sort of, I was going to say it's the buzzword, that's unfair because that doesn't take the challenge seriously, but it is something that we must, look more closely at when we're talking about 21st century sustainable management of our environment. But I'll come and see you in Radcliffe for a cup of tea.
This is a question really for you. I can't remember whether the Sports Fishing Council or the Recreational Fishing Council, whichever it is. Okay, I can't see it here. It's a question really as a former politician as to why you're so confident that the ministerial discretion is a protection for recreational fishers. Because I was 6 years in Parliament and had an awful lot of very confident promises by representatives of recreational fishing and hunting about the number of boats that get tallied up from those people. There may be, I doubt it, but there may be 500,000 or 600,000 fishers, but there's probably only a few thousand who actually shift their boat on it. And I think that you are leading a whole lot of people to have confidence that the potential voting clout of fishers, recreation fishers, is more than that of a few fishing companies, and you think therefore it's a good idea to keep the minister under political hammer. I think you ought to think a little bit about how easy it is for that kind of sentiment to shift. And it wouldn't be hard for a country like this to decide, like fox hunting got banned, or to decide that they don't like people who think it's fun to drag fish around by the mouth till they die, and that it's cruel, or who have other views about fishing. And in that situation, you might well want fishing not to be every year on the political table for another debate about whether we give the fishing industry or the fishing people a kick in the guts. And I suggest that the sort of sentiment I've heard here that thinks it's a really good idea to make sure that the minister can be under the blowtorch from recreational fishers every year might be very short-sighted in terms of where the long-term interest of recreational fishing is. And I speak as someone who started diving 40 years ago and have taken a lot of fish from the sea, but recognise that the selfish interests of all the people like me need to be properly measured and weighed, and I ought to be subjected to a proper licence system.
You raised some good points. The fundamental reason that we have confidence in the ministerial discretion is simply that. As long as it's within the minister's discretion, they can be influenced, we can have a conversation about it, we can push our case when we think that a call is being made. The fear we have is that, when a proportional allocation system is implemented with all the best intents, what Randall's proposing sounds quite fair.